Hello and welcome back to day 5 of our 12-day Yoga for Athletes challenge. Today we will be doing some active yoga, working with the upper body this time. So focusing in on the spine, the chest, the back, the shoulders and the arms. So this is going to be ideal for all you cyclists, swimmers and tennis players. We'll be doing lots of chest openers and twisting poses that help to counteract the hunched forward postures we can often inhabit as a cyclist riding on a bike or just in our everyday lives, perhaps working at a desk at a computer. We'll also be working with poses that get into the arms and shoulders. And then we'll also be weaving in some breath work, which is our theme for this week. Our breath is one of the yoga tools which is always accessible to us whenever we need it, and we can use it in so many ways. For today's practice, we'll be using the breath to get us into a flow state, linking breath with movement, and this can help us to keep us staying present and unite our mind and body. We also explore how to use the breath to meet any challenges we may be experiencing. And these are all skills which, if we can hone on the mat, then we can apply it to our lives off the mat as well. So for today's practice, set yourself up so you have space to move around your mat. You may want to have a blanket and some blocks to hand to help support you in your practice, or you can find some substitutes such as books and a bath towel. And just be sure to take what you need from this practice today. I will be showing you different variations as we go along, so choose what resonates with you and your body today. That also means if you need to stop or take rest, then stop and take rest. So whenever you're ready, let's begin our active yoga session. So we're going to begin with some settling in. So come into a comfortable seated position. So I'm sat up here on a blanket and a block. And then we're going to immediately start tapping into our breath, using our breath as a way to anchor us to the present moment. So if it's comfortable for you, you may like to close your eyes or just bring them to a soft gaze down to the mat. And then just start to bring your focus and attention to the breath. So notice the quality of the breath. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it deep? Is it shallow? And we're just noticing and observing. No need to make any changes or for any judgments. So just spending a few moments focusing in on the breath, helping us to be present here on the mat and letting everything else go. So you're welcome to just stay here noticing and observing your breath, or you can move on and join me in a breathwork practice. So the breathwork practice, or pranayama, that we're going to be doing today is called samavriti breath, also known as equal parts breath. And this is where we match the length of our inhales with the length of our exhales. And for today's session, we're going to be inhaling and exhaling for a count of 4. Like I said, this is optional. You're welcome to stay with your breath, or if you're ready to join me, then just taking an inhale through the nose to prepare you, and then exhale through the mouth, and then inhaling for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And just continue like that again for just 2 more rounds of breath in your own count and own rhythm. And then whenever you're ready, just return to your natural breath. Let go of any control now. Just pause a moment to notice any effects on the mind and the body. And then whenever you're ready, flutter the eyes open and we'll start to bring some movement to the body now. So we're going to take our arms out into cactus arms or trident arms. On our inhale, we're going to open out the chest, coming into a cow spine. And then on the exhale, we're going to round the back, coming into a cat spine and bringing the forearm and elbow together. Inhale, open out into cow spine, arms out wide. Exhale, cat, forearms and elbows together. Inhale, cow. Exhale, arms together. Then come back into an upright spine. I'm going to warm up the shoulders. So inhale, arms out to a T. Exhale, we're going to cross the arms, right arm underneath into a self hug. Inhale, open out the arms again. Exhale, this time switch the cross of the arms. We'll do that one more time on each side. So inhale, open. Exhale, cross, right arm under. Inhale, open. Exhale, cross this time, left arm under. And this time we're going to hold it here. Okay, so you've got some options here. We're going to get into the shoulder joints now. So you can either stay in this self hug or you can come to eagle arms. And that's where you keep the elbows crossed as they are, but you're going to bring the forearms together like so. You may even come into a double wrap, but you don't have to. I'm going to show you with the crossed arms first. So what you're going to do is as you inhale, you're going to bring the elbows up, feeling that movement in the shoulder joint. Exhale, just dropping the elbows again. Do that a couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. And then exhale down. And then we're just going to switch the cross. So taking the arms out, switching the other arm underneath. Now this time I'll show you with the eagle arms. So inhale, taking the elbows up. And then exhale down. So keep your arms centered. I'm just taking them slightly to the right so you can see me. Inhale up, getting into the shoulder joint. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. And then exhale down. Gently open the arms and release them. Then just give your shoulders a bit of a roll just to release them. So going in one direction, and then the other. And then when you're ready, we're going to come onto our hands and knees into a tabletop position now. So set your props out of the way, coming onto your hands and knees. And we're going to continue to warm up the spine. So inhale, dropping the belly, coming into a cow spine. Exhale, pushing through the hands and rounding back up towards the sky, coming into our cat spine. Linking breath with movement. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Come back to your tabletop position, and we're just going to come into a child's pose for a moment. So taking the hands forward a little bit and then untucking the toes, and then you're just going to send your hips back towards the heels, and maybe your forehead comes down to the mat. If not, then you're welcome to grab a block to put it under your forehead. And just spend a few breaths here in your child's pose, breathing all across the back, into the belly. So one more breath in, one more breath out. lift yourself back up, and then we're going to come into thread the needle. So getting into our shoulders here. So maybe bringing the hands back underneath you a bit more now. Inhale, we're going to put the weight into your right arm so that you can lift the left arm up, coming into an open twist. And then on the exhale, we're going to thread that left arm through underneath the body. And then if you can reach, you're going to put your head and your shoulder down to the mat, or this is where your blocks can come in handy. You can have one block under the shoulder and the other one under the head, just the height as you need. And then we'll hold it here for a couple of breaths, just enjoying that rotation in the spine, as well as getting into the left shoulder joint here. So use the breath to ease yourself into this twist. So we never force, we just ease ourselves in. Breathe into those areas that are tight. And if you're finding this a bit of a challenge, use that breath to stay relaxed as well. Okay, when you're ready, putting the weight into your right hand so that you can lift yourself back up again, taking that left arm up to the sky and then bring it back down. Then we're going to do the other side now. So I'm just going to set the blocks aside for now. So putting the weight into your left hand, inhale, rotating the torso so you can send the right arm up towards the sky. And then we're going to thread that right arm through underneath the body. This time I'm going to show you with the head and shoulder down to the mat. And then breathe. Again, breathe into those tight parts. Perhaps it's in the spine, perhaps it's in the shoulder. Breathe to ease yourself in, as well as to meet any challenge. Okay. Putting your weight into your left hand again. Inhale, sending that right arm up towards the sky again and bringing the hand back down to the mat. Okay, we're going to start coming into our standing postures, but in order to do that, we're going to tuck the toes under, send the hips up and back, so that coming into our downward dog, our upside down V shape. So take a moment to get yourself into this pose. So if you've got tight hamstrings and calves, pedal out the legs if you need to. And then when you're ready, start to walk the feet up towards the hands at the top of the mat. Maybe hanging out here in a forward fold for a few moments, getting that nice length in the back of your legs, as well as the spine and the back of your head. And then when you're ready, putting the weight into your feet, letting go of the elbows now. Slowly start to roll up bit by bit, bending the knees, and then rolling up vertebra by vertebra until we come to stand in our mountain pose. So just take a moment to just check in with yourself again, and maybe we can do around a Samavriti breath here just to center ourselves before we continue with our movement. So inhaling for count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 4. Okay, let's start our standing poses now. So have your blocks to hand at the top of the mat in case you need them. That's going to help elevate the ground up towards you. You do not have to use them, but they're there if you need them. And then we'll start off with some half sun salutations, linking breath with movement, getting the body moving. So when you're ready, inhale, taking the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinging forward at the hips, forward fold. Hands to the blocks if you like. Inhale into flat back. Hands can stay on the blocks or bring them to the shins. Exhale, release yourself back down into your forward fold again. Inhale, rooting down through the feet, bring the arms all the way up again. And then exhale, arms down by your side. And we'll just repeat that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up again. And then exhale, arms down by your side. Right, we'll add a little bit more onto that now. So inhale, taking the arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, into flat back. And this is where we add on now. So exhale, hands down to the mat and step back into a downward dog. Hold for around a Samavriti breath here. So inhale for 4. Exhale for 4. And then on your next inhale, step with your left foot forward to the top of the mat. Pick it up and get it there if you need to. And then drop the back knee down. We're going to come up into a low crescent lunge. We're going to do some twists now. Again, linking breath with movement. Inhale, we're going to take the arms up overhead. Exhale, we're going to twist over towards the left. We'll do that again. So inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. One more time. Inhale, back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Bring the hands down to frame the front foot. We're going to come into Warrior 2 now. So tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee so that you can then ground that back heel down, cartwheel the arms up. And we're in our Warrior 2. Right, we're going to do some flying warrior. So we're just going to bend and straighten the legs. Inhale, straighten the legs, and we're going to cross the arms just like we did in our warm-up. So left arm underneath, and then exhale, rebend back into Warrior 2. We'll do that again. Inhale, cross the arms. Exhale, rebend. One more time. Inhale, cross the arms, straighten the legs. Exhale, rebend. Okay, we're going to take the hands behind our back now. We're going to clasp them behind our back. If your hands don't reach, then just have the palms facing one another. And we're going to adjust the feet so that we can face the hips towards the front a little bit more. And then take a nice inhale. And then on your exhale, we're going to tip forward however far you can go. Testing your balance a little bit here. We're coming into a devotional warrior here. So if your chest and belly can rest on that front thigh, then do so. Otherwise, we're just going to hold it here. Hold it for around a Samavriti breath. So use that breath to find ease in the challenge. So inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. Gently release those hands. Bring them down to frame the front foot. And then we're going to step that front foot back into a plank. And then you've got options here. You can either keep the knees up or you can bring them down. I'll show you them with the knees down for now. Taking an inhale, and then on your exhale, lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Okay, untuck the toes, maybe taking the hands slightly forward and wide of the mat. Using your inhale, you're going to come up into a cobra, back bend here. And then we're just going to dip the right shoulder down, turning to face towards the left, getting into that right shoulder there. Come back to center and then lower the left shoulder towards the mat and turning the head towards the right. Okay, come back to center, lower yourself all the way back down to the mat, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders again, and then push yourself back up into a downward dog via a push-up or a tabletop. Okay, holding for around a Samavriti breath again, so inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. And then whenever you're ready, stepping forward with the left foot, coming into lunge at the front again. And then this time we're going to crawl the hands round, bring the blocks as well if you need them, round to the back of the mat. And then we're just going to repeat that same sequence. So dropping the back knee down, coming up into our crescent lunge. And then we're going to do our twists. So inhale, taking the arms up overhead. Exhale, twist over to the right this time. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist. And then come back to center. Bring the hands down to frame the front foot. We're going to come into warrior two. So tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee, ground that back heel, and cartwheel the arms up, coming into our warrior two. Okay, and then we're going to do our flying warriors. So inhale, straighten the legs, this time bringing your right arm under. Exhale, rebend. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, warrior two. Last time. Inhale, cross the arms. Exhale, warrior two. Okay, adjust the feet so that you can start to turn towards the back of the mat. Hands clasped behind the back, all palms together. Take a nice inhale, opening the front of the chest, and then exhale, leaning forward however far you can go, depending on your balance. And then hold for around a Samavriti breath. So inhaling for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Find that ease using the breath. And then gently release the hands down so that you can frame the front foot. Release that back heel as well. Step back into a plank. Remember, you've got the option to drop the knees down to the mat. Inhale before you then exhale to lower yourself all the way down to the mat. This time we'll just take one normal cobra. So inhale, coming up into back bend or cobra. Exhale, release yourself back down, and then push yourself up into a downward dog. And again, hold for around a Samavriti breath. So inhaling for 4, and then exhaling for 4. And then whenever you're ready, just release the knees back down to the mat now. And then we're going to come to our floor poses now, starting to cool the body down, bring us back into the parasympathetic state. So come to lie down on your back. We're going to do a bridge pose first. So have your feet flat on the mat, knees bent, feet are slightly apart, just about hip width distance, and your heels are just within tickling distance of your fingertips. Okay, you're going to activate the quads and the glutes by, imagine you're tugging the heels towards the top of the mat, but you're not actually moving the feet. And you should feel that activation in the legs. And then with that activation, you can then start to lift the hips up off the floor and then peel your back spine up off the mat, vertebra by vertebra, until you come up into your bridge pose. Now hands can be flat on the mat, robot arms, you can even grab the sides of the mat, or you can clasp the hands underneath you. And then hold for around a Samavriti breath. So inhaling for 4, maybe lifting the hips a little bit high as you do so. And then exhaling for 4. And then gently release the hands if you have them clasped. And then slowly start to lower the spine and then the hips back down to the mat. Once they've touched down, you can just give your knees a hug into the chest, maybe rocking side to side, getting a bit of relief to your back after that bridge pose. And then we're going to come into some spinal twists. So keeping the right knee hugged into the chest, taking your left leg long along the mat, and just holding here for a moment. Getting a nice stretch in the hip flexors. And then taking your left hand to the outer side of your right knee and just drawing that knee across the chest, coming into a spinal twist now. Left hand can stay on the knee or you can take it off. And then the right arm can either go out to side or into cactus arms. So we'll just hold it here for a couple of breaths. And if you turn your head away from the bent knee, then that increases the rotation in the spine as well. So choose what intensity you would like here. And see if you can let go of any doing here. And notice if you're holding onto any muscular doing here. Now this is your chance to just let go of effort and just ease yourself into this twist. Okay, whenever you're ready, bring your legs back to center. Hug both knees into the chest again. And then we'll do the other side. So this time, keeping the left knee in, hug towards the chest, taking the right leg long. Pausing here for a little bit of a hip flexor stretch before you then take the left knee across the body. Right hand can stay on that knee or you can take it off. And then the other arm out, straight or in cactus arms. And you can also add your head turn to the left if you like. And then use a breath here as well. Use the breath to soften the body now, to bring yourself into that parasympathetic state. Maybe see if you can lengthen the exhales to help shift you into that rest and digest state. Okay, whenever you're ready, come back to center. Hug the knees into the chest one last time, getting any movements in that may feel good. And then whenever you're ready, we'll come into a final resting pose. So take the legs long along the mat. You can come straight down onto your back, but I'm going to offer you a second option here. You can come into supported fish, which is a bit of a chest opener. So grab your blocks and you're going to have one for underneath the shoulder blades and the other one's going to support your head. So you might have the one behind, right about where a bra strap would be, behind the shoulder blades, and then this one's under the head. So depending on how intense of a chest opener you want, adjust the height of that block. I'm going to have it high. Legs can be bent, feet flat on the mat, or you can take the legs long. And then I'm going to grab a blanket here for some extra grounding on the hips as well. So we'll be here for a few minutes now. Allow yourself to fully let go. Let go of any effort, any muscular doing. Surrender your body down onto the blocks, to the mat, down to the earth. Allowing yourself to be held, as well as to receive. Allow yourself to soak in all the effects of your practice now. And if you find that your mind does start to wander, give yourself a little bit more time here on the mat, in the present moment. And you can do that by kindly and compassionately bringing your focus and attention to your breath. So if you're finding it a bit intense and you want to come out of your supported fish, you can remove the blocks now if you like, so that you come to lie fully flat on your back. But you are welcome to stay in your supported fish. Listen to your body. And then we'll just be here for a little more longer. Okay. You are more than welcome to stay longer in your Shavasana. But if you're feeling ready to move on, then start to invite a little movement back into the body now. So wriggling the fingers and the toes. Take some bigger movements now, so circling out the wrists and the ankles. And taking whatever movements feel good to you now. So you can take some stretches if you like. Or you can come to lie on your side in a fetus position. Maybe lingering here for a few moments. And then whenever you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up into an upright seated position so that we may close out our practice. And then hands can either come to Anjali Mudra, or you can just place them somewhere on the body, bowing the head or even closing the eyes if that's comfortable for you, and just take a moment to just notice the effects of your practice. Maybe tuning into the breath one last time. Notice how the breath feels. Using the breath to center yourself and keep you anchored here in the present and on your mat for a little moment longer before you move on with your day. And then whenever you're ready, you can float the eyes open and you can move on with your day now. Thanks for joining me in this active yoga session for day 5 of the Yoga for Athletes challenge. I'd love to connect with you, answer any questions or get feedback on how this is going for you. So please do post any comments, join the Facebook group with other athletes there, or check the links in my bio for more ways to connect with me. Join me again on day 6 for our passive yin yoga practice.